Greetings trainers and welcome to my channel. My name is Professor Jacaranda and today I'll be showcasing my Pokemon illustration collection. And so here we have the first page. This one is a work in progress, but it was something that I was really excited to have at the beginning of the binder. This is going to end up being what I'm calling my Vaporwave page. Now I have the beautiful G-Max Charizard in the middle here. Get it up close. Absolutely love this card. I'm not gonna lie, big Charizard fan. But there's a lot of like certain cards that I really love, and like the I guess it's just like the scale, the kaiju kind of look of this and all that is something that makes me like really excited to have this one. But this is actually not going to be the centerpiece of this. What I really want to do with this collection is actually get the Tapu Koko as the centerpiece for the true like Vaporwave section, since that's the one that has the most obvious reference to it. And then we've also got this really cool Deoxys from Crown Zenith with actually both the colors on that one. It's absolutely gorgeous. And so this next page is my collection of my favorite legendaries and mythicals. I was doing illustrations up through here, and then some of my favorite holos from Gen 4, and then some gold cards down here, which included the shiny Cresselia, and then these absolutely gorgeous matching pieces of Arceus and Giratina by Akira Agawa. These are absolutely some of my favorite cards that they've released. These are beautiful, beautiful arts. Got the Arceus in Japanese, and then I have the Giratina in Korean. I collect like a bunch of different language cards and things like that. Value doesn't mean anything to me in my collection. It's very much just a matter of like, if I like the art, I want to get it, and I get it when I can afford it. We've also got the Shinji Kanda Giratina. I love the way that the Distortion world is illustrated in this. It feels so like chaotic and oily and inky, and just exactly what like Giratina would be going through in its realm. We've also got, a lot of people ask me about the Bubble Mew, of course. I actually got this like quite a while ago when Paldean Fates like had released at the very beginning. Did not expect the card to go viral, so that was really funny. But I pulled so many Fates like trying to pull this in English, and ended up getting a Japanese single after I gave up. I literally never pulled an SIR in Fates. I only got the illustration rares. Let's see. And then this lovely, cute little Shaman. This was a X and Y promotional card, actually. And it's definitely one of my favorites. It's super duper cute. Kanako Eo is the artist for this, and I absolutely love her work. I love her line work and other things like that. She was also the one that illustrated some of these other cards that I'll feature in a second. And that includes the Skyform Shaman from the Radiant collection, which is super duper cute. It's also one of my favorite cards that I've got. I love the flowers, I love the detail. I don't know why Shaman just ended up being one of my favorites over the years. Let's see. And next page. Now this is my Burn Tower page. Something that I absolutely love about Pokemon is the lore of the various regions and series. And so I've got two separate stories going on, one being having the Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon, and then the matching Ho and Lugia from Celebrations, and a copy of the Burn Tower, and then some promos actually from the same era as these of Suicune, Entei, and Raikou. Most of these cards I actually had since I was a kid. I think the only ones that I got singles of were these two Celebrations ones, just to kind of fill out the page. But this was something that was always kind of like a fan theory, where the three nameless Pokemon that were lost in the tower were the evolutions, which also would fall into the mythos of Ecruteak City and having the Kimono Girls and all the evolutions available there. And then the following page is more of an illustration of the mythology itself. So you have Ho-Oh around the tower, the lightning that struck the tower, and then this beautiful, beautiful Ho-Oh legend, which I actually pulled this one as a kid. Pretty proud of that. Love Call of Legends. It's one of my favorite sets. as well as the Sacred Ash, and then at the bottom, the Crown Zenith illustrations of Raikou, Suicune, and Entei. It's just one of my favorite generations as far as like the lore. And then on the following page, we have my Celestial spread. This was very much just like sun and moon, sunset stars, however you want to view it. Absolutely love the warm hues that they used in a lot of these cards, including this Mightyena. I was so happy when we got like a Mightyena illustration rare. This is like exactly what I would have wanted from one. And absolutely love the colors, absolutely love like the detail. I love that we get like a whole pack of them like running out and chasing something and having like the sun in the background. It's a really, really dynamic and beautiful card. And then we also have another one of my favorites, the Akira Agawa Espathra. Absolutely beautiful. Again, I love the way that she does composition and color. It just really makes everything pop. It's one of those things where it's like, I remember running through the desert and being like, oh, this isn't really that interesting in the game, but to know that this is kind of how like the artists really see like the Pokemon world and their work is something that really helps like kind of with the imagination part of playing. And the last one on this page that I really want to show is this Rapidash. I don't know why, this is just such a sweet, like, nice card to me. I don't know, this one just kind of screams horse girl. Like, laying in the field with my Rapidash, the Laura Laramie treatment, if you will. And it's just such a beautiful card. It's almost abstract in a way where there's not like a lot of line, it's mostly just like color and texture, and I think that that's really beautiful about it. It contrasts so well with the purples and the blues to the oranges and the yellows. And then on the Starfall side, I organized them in a way where it almost felt like you were kind of reading into a sort of story. So there's the Helioptile looking up at the sky along with the Dugong looking at the Aurora, with these little guys falling down. I cannot remember the name of this Pokemon to save my life right now. Minior. We did it. And then we have the Gothita and the Cleffa looking at the moon and the little starfall, which I like to think kind of represents some of the Minior that are still falling. And I like to think that the Poliwhirl right here looking down into the water, seeing the reflection of the Minior. And then on the final page, we have the matching cards for Lunatone and Solrock, with the Illumise and the Volbeat. And then what I like about having in the middle is the Absol looking up. So it's one of those like predicting the fall of like the moon and the sun and all those different things. I don't know, it's just sometimes really fun to like make up your own stories as you're collecting like different cards and different singles and things. So I like to have it both where there's like pages of just absolute like bangers of like art, but also things that just kind of like seem really meaningful, or like cards that could match together if you're like really reading into it. And so next page is what I like to call People and Pokemon. These are very much just all Pokemon in different environments where they would either be living alongside humans or like working together with them. I still love this angry little Charmander just trying to get at the Pidgey. I think that's adorable. And definitely two of my favorite cards from these are the matching Plusle and Minun. These are just so fun and cute to me. And on the next page, these are illustrations that I imagine how people in the Pokemon world would depict Pokemon, like the same sort of like art that you see at the Lumiose Museum. Art Nouveau style of Miss Magius from Triple Beat. It's absolutely pretty. This is one of the, I actually picked this up in a PSA 10 in Japanese a long time ago, and then ended up having this one sent as a freebie to me with another order that I got, so I was super happy to be able to fill out this page with that one. And then of course, the stained glass promo from Hidden Fates. This one's in Chinese, which I actually prefer to get some of the Japanese, Chinese, or Korean for my binders, just because these cards look so good in person. Textures, colors, all those things. I honestly much prefer them over some of the English prints. But honestly, it just depends on the set. I feel like some sets do better in some languages and some do better in others. Another one I absolutely love is this Regigigas, showing where it's like actually moving the continents. Again, I love the lore and the mythology of Pokemon, so seeing it like both acknowledged in the TCG and like illustrated in such a beautiful way where it's almost like a storybook of somebody showcasing like, and this is when Regigigas moved the continents kind of thing is really, really fun and interesting to see. These next few pages are a bit of a work in progress. We're getting towards the end of the binder. This is my land and sea, however we want to say it. I know one of my favorites from these is definitely Gardevoir. This Gardevoir is absolutely beautiful, and I love the little surprised whooper. Oh my gosh, that is too cute. And the sleeping Pachirisu. But yeah, no, this is just another beautiful card. It's also a very subtle shiny card, which I kind of like. It's like, I know this is shiny Gardevoir, but like, it very much just flows into the entirety of the composition that like, you could tell me this is normal Gardevoir, and if I'm 10 years older, I'd probably believe you. And then of course the Sleeping Mew. Oh, I love this one. It's absolutely adorable. This one reminds me of one of my favorite movies from the series, which was the Lucaria Mystery of Mew movie. Absolutely one of my favorites, that I remember the little Mew like on its pile of toys playing and sleeping. It was absolutely adorable. And then I guess the final one I'll showcase on here, just because I can't not show this one, is the Leafeon, also from Crown Zenith. I love to think that this is like someone's Leafeon that they have in like an apothecary. There's sometimes where it's like I like to move it to other binders and keep it with Erica's Invitation, because I know that she also has a Leafeon on one of her teams. So I like to think this is like one of the Pokemon that she uses to make fragrances in her shop. And then the sea page I'm still working on. I'd like to do it kind of layered, where you have like Pokemon like right on the cusp of the land and sea, and then Pokemon that are flying above it, and then obviously the Pokemon below here. This one being my absolute favorite on this page. I wanted this card for a long time and finally got it. This is a beautiful, beautiful Lumineon. And it's one of those Pokemon where it's like, I'm not even gonna lie, I always thought this Pokemon was really pretty, but because it just was so like forgotten and not competitively viable, nobody really cared about it. And so when it got this illustration, I was just like, see, somebody loves you. And I also love the little lantern in the side. That's adorable. I love little like cameos and things like that in the cards. And next page we have, so this is a bit of a split page. This one is very much just kind of a Enchanted Forest sort of vibe. I could not help but put between the two seasonal Deerling, this Ninetales. This is one of my favorite illustrations that they've ever released by us, because Ninetales is also my favorite Pokemon. But this gives me such like Princess Mononoke, the forest spirit walking through Studio Ghibli type vibes, and like I absolutely love it. I feel like this card has been underrated for so long and is like now just getting attention. And this is one that I actually pulled. I picked up a random pack of Obsidian Flames and was like, oh, that's all I need. So that was really fun. I have a couple other copies. Actually, I have a Ninetales binder dedicated to all the Ninetales illustrations that I'll do in a separate video. And then this page is Pokemon looking up. I thought it was really funny. I kept like collecting all these different illustrations just because I thought they were really pretty. But as I was like putting things together in the binder, I realized every single one of these Pokemon is just looking up. So it felt like they fit. And then the following page, yes, this is one of my favorite spreads, and I've been working on this one for a while. Big fan of horror, so I absolutely love ghost types, dark types. I also love that a lot of these cards really lean into like the creepy or scary factor of a lot of these Pokemon. One of my favorites being this Mega Frostlass. I love this design. I love that it really falls into the yokai inspiration for Frostlass, and how it's just kind of like luring you into its like scary cavern of death. And some of my other favorite cards from the spread is definitely the Houndoom from Shrouded Fables. I got this like the day it came out. I'm not even kidding. I like went online and got a single. I was like, I refuse to not have this card. It's absolutely gorgeous. Very limited color palette, but just so dynamic. It has so much like motion and action in it. and it's just really, really cool. I love the little like red streak on the eye to just show like how fast they're running through to like chase down or hunt down whatever they're going after. And then another favorite is this Mega Absol. I'm just such a huge fan of a lot of these Mega illustration rares. And moving on from here, Evolutions. Originally, I had all my Evolutions in a separate Evolution binder, but I really liked the way these illustrations looked together, and I didn't really want to keep them separate from the rest of my illustrations. And I love the way this layout came out. You got the Sleepy Eevee in the middle. The 4 Prismatic on the outside, I actually pulled myself. I ended up pulling 3 of the Sylveon, 3 of the Vaporeon, and none of the Leafeon, which is the one that I wanted. And another one that I absolutely love, this is probably my favorite of the VMAX cards, was the Leafeon playing with the hay bale. That is the most adorable country thing I've ever seen in my life. Too cute. This is literally just what a giant cat would do with a hay bale. And moving on, the rest of the binders, actually pretty bare. I've still got quite a lot of space to fill this up. I have a page of just promo cards, all the Japanese McDonald's cards, including Burger Pikachu. And get a close-up of the little guy going for him burger. As well as some of the illustration contest cards, which is definitely some more of the cards I want to get on here, is like a page of just some of the promos I really liked. And then heading back all the way to the back, last page, I have a page of specifically Paldea. I absolutely love Scarlet and Violet. It was definitely a game that like got me back into collecting, which was really nice. Floragato was my favorite Pokemon from SV. I ended up evolving my Sprigatito, giving her an Eviolite, and went for the gold, and she went all the way actually to ranked, took her in. And all I can say is sucker punching a Giratina with a tiny cat is hilarious. And then this final page is really like highly detailed, like close-up illustrations of Pokemon. The Blaziken, the Tag Team, this Raboot, which is such a good card for a Pokemon I did not care about. And then the cute little like almost hyper-realistic Furret. This almost kind of reminds me of like Detective Pikachu level styling of like how detailed it is. It's too cute. And then the Skarmory as well. This is definitely one of my favorite cards. I got this as soon as it was released. The metal like detailing and the way that they rendered this is absolutely beautiful. And of course, I have to have a shout out to the Lucario, because this is still like one of my favorite promos ever. At the end of my illustration binder tour, let me know in the comments what some of your favorite cards are. Do you guys like to collect different sort of like themes in your binders, or if you just stick to one Pokemon? If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!